morning, everyone. Today we are going to make the Carriers Conquest Bag by Chris W. Designs. Now this is a relatively good size bag, and I would say that it is for a confident beginner or an intermediate level. It has large straps and it has somewhat of a drawstring top. It has many pockets. It has a zip pocket, a foam pocket, a slip pocket, and it even has a wallet pocket. And that's the first time that I've ever made a wallet pocket. I'm going to make it. It is an optional thing for the pattern. All of the pockets are optional. And there are even extra instructions in the pattern that she gives if you want to use those elongated strap connectors instead of making your own strap connectors out of your vinyl or your fabric. There are a lot of pieces to this pattern, so she suggests that you cut out the little labels that she gives you and put them on your pieces as you make them, and that you also put the interfacing on your pieces as you go, and that is all in the instructions too. Now I have gotten Chris's permission to do this pattern, and it's an older pattern. It's from 2016, but when I was looking at things to ask for approval on it, this one caught my eye, so I thought I would do it. So let's get sewing this pattern. Because my rectangle D-rings are 1 1/4 inches, and so I measured this out. I took 1 1/4 inches and times it by 4 and come up with 5 inches. So I measured 5 inches wide and 30 inches long. I drew I drew a line down the center, and now I'm going to put some double-sided tape on each side of that line and fold it over and do the double. So what I do is I usually put a piece just on one side of the line so I can see that line. And I don't know, I learned this off of one of the YouTube channels. I don't know who it was that did this, and it works out pretty good. And then I put a line or a piece of tape on the other side of the line, and you want maybe just a little bit of space there so you can actually see that line that you drew. And that helps when you fold it over to butt the sides up together a lot better. And I'm using a 1/4 inch double stick tape that I got from Walk. Or Wig Walk, as some people call it. I have also been told that if you start in the center, you can get a better fold. You can get it folded down a lot more easily. You want to take it up to that line as close as you can. Let's just see, I didn't cut that quite right there. That's okay, it'll work out. And this vinyl is relatively thin. I know she suggests to put a stabilizer on her vinyl if it's thin, but I did not do that. Oops. As you see, that's about 1.25 inches. And then you just flip it over, hit this way. So I'm going to sew it down this way, eighth of an inch away, then sew it down on the other side 1/8 of an inch away, and then I'm going to put 2 lines down the center. Now, I have always been taught that in order to keep your strap so it doesn't turn when you sew, when you top stitch it, you sew down this side, and then you come up and you start where you started this one and sew down this side. You don't sew down this side and then turn it and sew down this side, because that's what causes your strap to turn, to twist. So I'm going to increase my stitch to just over 5. Then I'm going to start probably 1/8 of an inch away from this one on this side, go down, and 1/8 of an inch on this way and go down. And then you're going to want to pull your thread through. Tie them off and burn them. So my video on the connecting the strap connectors, I must not have pushed the button to record because I can't find it in my list of things that I recorded. So I made up a sample piece of strapping. That's why it's small. And I'm using a 1.5 inch instead of a 1.25 inch rectangle ring. And what I do is I usually measure down from the top 1.5 inches, and I draw a line. And you can use your mat or you can use your ruler, whichever. Draw a line. I put the rectangle ring on there like that. I bend that down. And then I sew across here. And I also do something to, I usually put, I either use a marker, the color of the strap, or I do the edge coating on that because you don't want it to look like that. After I sew across, I pull the threads through and burn them off. And then I will just eyeball it to find the center, put a hole there, and then I'll stick a rivet there. And that will secure my strap connector. Okay? That is how you make the strap connector for your bag or the strap that's gonna connect to the strap connector. Okay? Tacky glue, two of your strap connectors, and a Q-tip. Set this over here so I don't get nothing on it. So I am going to take that, put some glue on there. Maybe a paintbrush would be better. There we go. Yeah, that's probably a lot better. You have some double-sided vinyl that I got from Alibaba, and it's, I will show you when I put this, I'll show you what it looks like when I put this one down. I was going to use it, but it's kind of thick for the bottom, and I didn't want to have any problems in attaching it to the top body part. I was afraid it would be too bulky. I know my machine can handle it, but I don't know if the bag could handle it. Maybe if I made the bag all the same, but I think it's pretty. And I'm going to use it on something here shortly. See, it's double-sided vinyl. Or faux leather, double-sided faux leather. It doesn't have the It doesn't have this knitting type stuff on the back of it. It's the same here. It's just a little bit smoother looking on the back side than it, and you could use either side for your front or back. And I was going to make the strap connectors, and I would only need one because it's pretty sturdy all by itself. I got a roll of that from Alibaba for $24.99, 30 something with shipping. And I got it in 2 weeks' time from the time that I ordered it. I ordered it, in February, I think. The end of February I ordered it, and I got it the week before we went on spring break. Okay, so put that there. And like I said, we will trim those up before we do our job to them. Ooh, yay, that's really not good. I didn't cut that one right. There. Okay, so we'll set those aside and let them dry. I would say maybe an hour to be on the safe side. And then we will attach them to the bag. Okay, now you're going to find your flat piece in your stack of fabric here. And you should have turned this side down 3/8 of an inch and ironed it. You want to take this and you want to fold it in half to find your center. And I would mark it. And you want to mark it an inch up. It's going to be okay, we're going to mark it an inch up, like she says. You want to center this, draw your lines. And I'm sure everybody knows how to put a magnetic snap on now. Ooh. I'm going to get a piece of decorative heavy out of your scraps. And I usually cut mine in a circle. And then I will going to put the male piece on there. I want to kind of press it down so the prongs down, so you're making a mark of where that you need to cut. And I usually fold mine in half and snip it. Just give it a little snip. So you're going to take the male piece, which looks like that. I hope you can see it. It's got the little outy part sticking out. You want to put the prongs in those holes that you cut on your flap. Where's my decorative? Put your decorative on there. Get one of your washers. And then you want to either fold the prong out or in, whichever way you prefer. It doesn't really matter. Do this. There. So that should be on there like that. So now you want to grab your other flat piece and put these right sides together. If you're using directional fabric, it's a good thing to match everything up. I didn't plan on using directional fabric, that's how it happened. Yeah. And you want to clip all the way around. So we're going to sew around here at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, which will be at the edge of your interfacing, and we're going to leave this open. Okay. So we're going to sew at 3/8 inch seam allowance all the way around, and we're going to leave the top open. Oh, I'm going to turn my stitch length down to 2.5. Oh, no. And then you want to take your pinking shears, if you have any, and go across all the way around here. If you don't have pinking shears, you snip about 1/4 of an inch. Well, yeah, maybe 1/4 of an inch, but don't get into your seam allowance. I'm going to use my pinking shears. These are a good thing to have. I got them at Walmart. They are, I believe they're a Fisker brand. A little closer. Okay. And we want to turn that right side out and press it. And top stitch all the way around. Okay, now I got that all pressed. I'm going to top stitch all the way around the edges, around here, the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to turn my stitching up to 3.5. It should look like that. And that's the back. So now we're going to make the wallet pocket. So grab your pieces. I made this one. This is a exterior part, and I'm going to show you how to do the lining. So you want to grab this side here, be your left side, and you want to bring that down so you have a point over here. So it makes a point. You should have a triangle like that. You should have a triangle. And you want to clip that. Take your ruler. And you're going to want to measure over from that point in towards the pocket, or towards the center of the pocket, 2 inches. Make a mark. Then from that point again, you measure up 2 3/4 inches and make a mark. And then you connect those lines. Oops. Then you take this side and you do the same. You're going to make sure you make a point here. Get that off there. And this will probably look a little funky right here, but it should make a triangle. Kind of like a pirate's hat. That's what it reminds me of. One of those paper pirate's hats. Okay, so measure in from the point 2 inches, make a mark. Measure up from the point 2 3/4, make a mark. Then connect. And we are going to sew on these lines. And you'll want your material to be inside out. You're going to sew on this, should be the wrong side should be facing out. Cut that off. Cut that off. Then you'll want to cut this off. And I would leave about 3/8 of an inch to 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. So on your exterior piece, you're going to open this up, put it on your iron or ironing mat, and you're going to press these in towards the center, okay? On the lining piece, you're going to open this up and you're going to press it in towards this inner mark here, okay? Okay, it should look like this when you open it up. You're going to open up the other one and you're going to put them right sides together. Match up those seams. If you notice, this is nesting your seams so you can go over it so there's not a lot of bulk there. I am going to Well, I sewed all the way around. I don't know what happened to the video. It turned off, but you sew all the way around. What I forgot was to leave a hole at the bottom for turning. So I'm going to pick that out there. Probably about 3-4 inches. And then you want to leave a hole over here 2 inches because you're going to need to put a metal, either a piece of metal in there or it's called boning or casing. It's going to make this, you'll see when we get there, it's going to give it some kind of structure to stay up so it doesn't keep falling down. So a hole here for the casing and 3 to 4 inches down here for turning. Or this is called wriggling. I got it at Fields Fabric up in Kalamazoo, and this is going to give this top piece some stability. This is what we are going to put inside this hole, so it'll give this top part of the bag, of the wallet pocket, some stability. So I will show you how to insert that and sew the line on there. So we needed it to be 1 1/4 inches down from the top. straighten that out. And 1.25 inches down from the top. That chalk doesn't like to come out of white stuff. And we want to measure it, I believe it's 9 inches. I want to go 4.5 and 4.5 is 9. Okay. Draw that across there. And we want this to be at 9. I just bought a foot of this stuff and it was like it had to have been 4 something. Well, no, it had to have been $1 something because my little other things that I got were $1.99 a piece. So we're going to slip that in there. And I am going to sew. I'm going to push that up for right now. And I'm going to sew right along there on my domestic. Right along that line. So I'm going to sew right along this line. I got my machine set at 2. Oops. Goofball. Get that in there. I'm going to back stitch just a couple stitches. Barely see my line. It's fading. Okay. So that is there. And I'm also going to sew one at the top just to keep that in there. I think I'm going to, like I do a zipper, I'm going to go up, around, and down. That's what I'm going to do. So that little sucker don't move around. But I think I need to put it in the other way. So I took it out and re-put it in, and what I did before I put it back in is, since it comes on a roll, it's going to be kinky and it's going to cause your wallet pocket to bend up. So I took it out and I rolled it in the opposite direction, held it real tight with my hands for about 15 seconds, let it go, put it out on the table, and kind of flattened it out. So now it's laying flat in there. And then I pushed it in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line here and here so I know where my line will be to sew. So I'm just going to sew it like I would for my zipper. Just gonna go up, turn, and I can feel it slid. Push that back down. like a needle. I can feel I'm riding right along that. Turn. Take that pin out, or I'm gonna be crying because I'll bust my needle. Come around this way, and I will tie my edges off and my threads off. Okay, so pull that out there, and it's not gonna matter if this is on there like that, because this is going to be inside of your bag. Okay, so I'm going to pull these out and tie them off and burn them. Inside of your inside lining. Yeah, isn't that cute? Never seen one of those before. Okay. Okay, so I drew my lines 4 inches over from the edge each way, then 1 3/8 inch down from the top, draw your line across, and then from here to here, ignore this one, from here to here you want 4 5/8 inches, and that's where your pocket is going to. No clips. So what you're going to do is you are going to pin it. So we are going to sew around this pocket. See how we do here. Going to go 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. And I've got my stitch length set at between 4.5 and 5. What'd I do? Shut up. Oy vey. Just might work. Okay, so I'm going to kind of pull this out over this way. I'm gonna round my corner and see what happens. We will see what happens. It'll either be right or it'll turn out to look like dookie. And make sure you got that material tucked up 3/8 and just go right over it. That'll close that hole up where you used to turn it. Excuse me. and also that side piece that we left open. Go over that too, because that's going to close that up. And if you see here, I'm going to go off the edge just a hair, like when you do a pocket in a lining. It kind of secures the pocket. I'll show you what it's going to look like. Little scissors. And I'll put my jammies on. I know it's only 3:30 in the afternoon, but it's Friday and I ain't going nowhere. Okay, so let's see what happened here. Poke those out. Oh, yeah. Alrighty. It worked. I guess that was the right thing to do. That's how the back will look. You will curve around the corners. See? Let me go get a wallet and see what that's gonna. This is just a small one, but oh yeah. See, it slips right in there. That's a cute idea. That is a cute idea. See, it goes right in there. Huh. Who would have thought? Okay, that is your wallet pocket. Right there. Okay, so we're gonna attach the accent piece and the strap connectors. So the directions weren't very clear to me on how to do this bottom part. I read it like 4 times, and I even emailed Chris, but she has not gotten back to me yet. So I am just going to wing it here. She says that the height of the bag is supposed to be 10 inches. So that's why I'm measuring up this way, so I can keep it as close to 10 inches as possible. So I'm going to measure up 1.25 inches from this line that I drew where the accent piece is going to be attached. So 1.25 inches. And I'm going to draw, well, first I'm going to measure 2 inches and 5/8. 2 5/8 inches from the outer edge. Two and 5/8. I'm going to connect these lines. Then I'm going to do that also on this side. 2 5/8. 2 5/8. Connect these lines. Okay, now 1.25 inches up from that line where I'm going to put my accent piece. And then you're going to want to measure 2 inches in. 2 inches. So, there. inches in and there. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to attach our accent piece. Oh, that'll come off. Set that on that line. I'm going to use double-sided tape. I'm going to put it right just above that line. Where's my scissors? There. I'm going to take this like that. Then I'm going to set this down on there. I'm going to sew it 3/8 all the way across. Then I'm going to flip it and top stitch. Okay? So let's do that. And I'm going to do this over on my industrial. So it looks like that. Looks like that. Okay. Be careful not to rub your chalk lines off that you made. And I'm going to have to do this on my domestic since my other machine does not allow. Put my domestic up here. Okay, I am going to start on the side here. I got my zigzag all set. I'm going to start right on the vinyl here. And that is how it should look. With all these zigzags all the way around. So you do that to the next one too. I'm not going to show that because it's kind of repetitive. Okay, so now that we have our strap connectors done, we have all 4 of them done. I trimmed off the edges to make them look better. We are going to attach them to the front body and the back body of the bag. Measure down 2 inches. And measure down 2 inches. Take the other strap. Do the same thing. So we made our mark. This is our 2 and, what was it? 2 5/8 mark here. Right here. And then we measured up 1.25 inches. So there. And then over 2 inches. Right? Yep, over 2 inches. So this 2-inch line, you're going to want to stick that there. Put some tape behind it. Let's use 1/8 inch tape. Tape it here. Tape it here. Put some on the bottom. And I'm also going to put a piece there. My needle is really going to have to be cleaned after this. And you want to do the same over on this side. Take that. Oops. Take that. Down the middle. And a small one. Small one over here. Okay, so my 2-inch mark, I want it on this side of my 2-inch mark. Okay. You're going to stitch around these at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And I'm going to go across just underneath that one line. Okay, you have to pull it, you're going to tie it off and burn the edges. This is kind of an awkward way to do it, but I learned this from, is her name Sue or Chris from Simply Classic website. When she put together a concealed carry bag, she did her straps like this. And I just like the technique. And the glue's not dry. Okay, then you just tie them off and burn them, and then we will put a rivet here and a rivet there. Okay, so far your front should look like this. And your back will look the same way. So we did this together. You can go and do the back piece the same way. Okay, so now we are going to do the rivets. So I am going to just kind of eyeball this to see where the best spot would be. I'm going to say maybe right there. There and in the middle of this one. Okay, I got my holes punched in these two. I didn't use this because I couldn't get it around there. So I used this little thing. It's a Japanese hole punch. And what you do is you mark your hole. Then you put it on there. You put it over the hole, or over the mark. And you sometimes mine is getting dull. And make sure that you hold it over that you keep it over that mark. Mine's getting dull, so it's not really working that well, so I had to struggle punching the hole. But if you have a brand new one, or one this is more sharp, you can get the hole in there better. So that's how I did that. I take my rivet. I use a size 9 or 12, whichever, depending on your foam and your material that you're using. I'm using 9mm. I think it'll be okay. I'm hoping it'll be okay. Yep, it will. I can feel that through there. And you just want it sticking out just a tiny weeny bit. Put it on there till you hear it snap. Okay. Get your rivet press. Now you want to take this and you want it setting in that hole right there. I always have to look and see what's going on. Kind of hold it, get my material out of the way, and this should be lined up with that. And then you just press it down and it punches. And don't worry if it punches a mark on your vinyl, it'll come out. It pops right out. Okay. So put it over there. Voila. And that's how it should look. Okay, and you can do the other side.